Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who really needs to take a shower. So let's get through this. Uh, I'm here to recap UFC on ABC 9, Whittaker versus De Ritter. I thought the main event was really close on paper, like the scorecards. I thought they could have gone either way, but I did think Renier De Ritter got the better of Robert Whittaker altogether. But again, on paper, I thought Whittaker narrowly won round three, even though you can make the argument with the ass kicking at the end. He lost it. And I did think in the end it came down to round five, and I scored that for Renier De Ritter. So it's not just that I thought he got the better of him altogether under Pride scoring. I thought under UFC scoring, Renier De Ritter got the better of Robert Whittaker as well. But it was close. And I know that because I had money on Robert Whittaker, and I could totally make the case for him winning. But Renier De Ritter, excuse me, fucking gag, that a fucking gag. Renier De Ritter, I thought exceeded my expectations far and away by being the better man over the course of 5 rounds and in the championship rounds as well. I thought Renier De Ritter won round four, and I thought he shut down Robert Whittaker in round five. Now, bear in mind, I didn't score round three for Gabriel Bonfim last week or whenever that was, but I do think cage control and neutralizing and all that, it's not nothing. Shouldn't be everything, but Robert Whittaker didn't do enough when he was on his feet there at range to win that round. I thought he did get the better of Renier De Ritter. At least I think so. I haven't seen the fight more than once, but I thought Whittaker was doing better on the feet in round five, but still not enough to make up for being pinned against the cage. I know this is where some asshole's going to go, did you read the scoring criteria? Yeah, I know. I've read it, but I don't even give a shit what it says. I think you should just judge each round the way you see it. It's tough to weigh grappling versus striking, clinch control, but you just go with what you think at the end of 5 minutes. And I went with Renier De Ritter winning round five. But again, I had hopes for Whittaker because I had money on him. Not even my primary bet on Whittaker, by the way. My bets were more on the props, more on Whittaker. I think I played him by TKO in rounds 2, 3, and 4. Might have been flat. Renier De Ritter, I know I played flat. The odds were close enough where I didn't want to play his submission line and commit to that like I did when he fought Bo Nickel, even though his money line still came through in a big way. But yeah, here, nothing hit, and I underestimated Renier De Ritter being a 5 round force and also adjusting on the feet. I knew he had those knees and, of course, a lot of physical advantages over Robert Whittaker. But I also knew Robert Whittaker had the technical advantages and the speed and the athleticism that he showed in round one. That's how I thought the fight would look after round one and maybe during round one as well. But I thought Renier De Ritter is going to have, he's going to be able to make some things work for him. But then over time, Robert Whittaker would prove to be the much sharper guy and take over once, everybody gets tired and, Renier De Ritter can no longer keep up with him. But I had that wrong. And Robert Whittaker was a victim of those knees, just like Bo Nickel was. And those are some big fucking weapons for Renier De Ritter. He's a massive guy, and he times those things well. And he found the open body of Robert Whittaker. And I believe you can say he got a knockdown with it in round two. Or maybe he didn't. I don't know. I forget exactly what happened there. Maybe he hit him badly, and then Whittaker kind of turned and he took him down or whatever. But he fucked him up there and then dominated round two with Whittaker being hurt. And I feel like that was the pivotal moment of the fight. But Whittaker, again, it was a great performance from him. I thought he did take the bigger ass kicking altogether, but like I said, he still put himself in a position to win that fight, to win the decision. At the end, on the scorecards, on paper, it was anybody's fight. But Renier De Ritter, who I think is, to be honest, the more exciting guy moving forward. These are 4 big victories very quickly that he's gotten in the UFC. And Robert Whittaker, of course, is that guy where if you beat him, you're fighting for the belt, or no one's going to think twice if you do. But yeah, Renier de Ritter, he called for a shot. Whatever he's doing next, it's going to be huge. He's either one fight away from a title fight, and that'll be a main event or a big pay per view fight or something, or it's a title fight, and that'll be the main event of a pay per view. So a great win for Renier de Ritter. Tough loss for Robert Whittaker. Again, I like that he fought hard in this fight, but this is another loss to a top middleweight who gets a step over him here. So yeah, Robert Whittaker, he's still young, he'll rebound, but tough loss. Petr Yan beat Marcus McGee. I thought Marcus McGee looked really good in round one. I thought Petr Yan was winning, but not by much, and then Marcus McGee landed some big shots, and I thought turned the tide a little bit. But Yan was still very competitive, at least in round one, and I thought he was more dominant with each round, with each minute. And he really took it to Marcus McGee and showed him that next level, that Petr Yan level. And I thought he was able to next level him within 3 rounds, which is a good look for Yan, who, as they say, he makes reads and downloads the data in round one. And that's not something you can do in a 3-round fight where one punch or one takedown is 33% of the fight. But yeah, great win for Yan. Great cardio and great striking and everything else. And for Marcus McGee, I thought his power was there for him. I thought his durability was there for him because Petr Yan roughed him up a little bit. But McGee did have really 1 round of competition in him here with Yan. And then I think he was just too far behind. And that experience showed in addition to the skill gap. And Petr Yan was just a little too much for him. But credit to him, he took a round from Yan, or whatever the scorecard said. I think they were actually all 30-27s, but he could have taken a round from Yan, and he made it to the final bell. Not that Jan's Mr. Killer, but he's killed enough guys where, yeah, if Marcus McGee found himself in a shitty spot as an 8-1 fighter or whatever, a finish was certainly possible here down the stretch. And even though Yan took over, he didn't finish McGee. So Yan, I don't know what he's doing next, but very likely it's for the title. No one would think twice again. He's one of those guys, just like Umar, whatever, only he's won a few fights. He's won 3 fights in a row now, where, yeah, he's a top-level guy, and he's given enough guys a shot at him and his ranking here, and I think now he gets to move up and take a shot at someone, and that's pretty much going to be the champion. So, great win for Yan. Shara Bullet beat Marc-Andre Barrio. I thought this was a fun fight. I thought Magomedov was comfortably winning until that big punch from Marc-Andre Barrio, which shattered the nose of Shara Bullet. And Marc-Andre Barrio did get in his face after that. I thought he was bullying him and looked really good at the end of round 2. But in round 3, just wasn't able to keep up. Shara Bullet was back to being the superior athlete. And towards the end, especially, really started teeing off on Marc-Andre Barrio and putting some of that fear into him. It was too little too late, and he didn't get a finish. But he definitely reclaimed control of the fight and claimed a decision that I think might have been 30-27 as well. I forget the fucking scorecards. But a solid win for Shara Bullet. He does not look perfect anymore here. He did get cracked, but he handled it well. I thought he handled it well enough in round 2, but certainly bounced back in round 3. And for Marc-Andre Barrio, credit to his chin here. I thought his chin was gone. Suffering 2 consecutive knockout losses, which I'll get to in a few fights when I talk about Nikita Krylov. But Marc-Andre Barrio was able to stand tall here, and even though he came up with a clear defeat, he still got $50,000 here with Fight of the Night. So I'm thinking he's going to live to fight another day, especially with that win over Bruno Silva, and not a bad performance. Asu Almabayev beat Jose Ochoa. This was a pretty clear victory for Almabayev, but still very tough. Jose Ochoa was giving him hell on the feet and on the ground. locked up a few triangle chokes and different submissions. And obviously, he didn't lock him up, but you know what I mean. He threatened, and I thought he made those rounds competitive. He didn't relax when Almabayev was on top of him, but Almabayev was a little too much for him. I do think that cardio showed. Jose Ochoa took this fight on short notice, and in round three, I thought Almabayev was a little more comfortable on the feet than he had been in the past. And of course, the takedowns came as easily as they did all fight. So definitely the could have been the difference. But I do think overall Almabayev pretty much controlled that whole fight. And again, I don't remember the scorecards. They could have been 30-27s. But great win for Almabayev. And for Jose Ochoa, he's a guy who I think is now 1-2 in the UFC. But he's a guy that's got a bright future in the UFC, even if his back is against the wall in his next fight. I don't think he's going to be an easy guy to finish, and I don't think he's going to be an easy guy to beat. And I think he's going to stick around despite 1-2. Bogdan Guskov knocked out Nikita Krylov. I talked about chins before. I'm always harping on chins, and this is a great example of why. Nikita Krylov, who's been rock solid throughout, I don't know, 70 fights or whatever he's got in his career, has now been knocked out twice, and only twice. The first one was a ground and pound finish, but here he was knocked out in 2 consecutive fights. He's only 30 years old or whatever. It's not like he's past it athletically, but the mileage is there. And now he's been shut out twice, knocked out twice against Bogdan Guskov and Dominic Reyes. Okay, they're both fucking monsters. They're excellent fighters and dangerous guys. But I still feel like it's no coincidence it's happened twice in a row after, again, 75 fights or whatever he's had. It's like 50. But Krylov, yeah, the writing's on the wall here. I'm not saying he's going to go the route of like a Dominic Reyes and just get knocked out a few times. And I'm not saying he's not going to do that and then bounce back and start kicking ass and making a climb perhaps to the title again. It's amazing what Dominic Reyes is doing. But yeah, chins are a thing. Even if you can overcome it, like Dominic Reyes and Andrei Arlovsky, it's still going to be there moving forward. And I think Nikita Krylov, I don't trust his chin anymore, even if he goes on a nice streak here or whatever. But yeah, the Bogdan Guskov, great win for him. I thought he was definitely in the realm of winning this, but I thought he would be a step behind, really altogether, in MMA against Krylov. Krylov, despite having been submitted a bunch, I thought he would be the more willing grappler and the better grappler here. And on the feet, I thought he'd have a technical advantage, which he did. But Bogdan Guskov is fucking dangerous, and that danger was too much for the chin of Nikita Krylov. Bogdan, he's got a lot of momentum in the UFC. He's got that one loss, but it was in his debut against Volkan Oezdemir, former victim of Nikita Krylov. And now he's stepped on enough big guys' heads where he's a contender, Bogdan Guskov. And yeah, he's an exciting guy. I hope to see him again soon. And with the way he's been showing up, I think we will see him again soon. Bryce Mitchell beat Said Nurmagomedov. I thought this was a clear victory for Bryce, but still very tough. Said was too much for him on the feet. I mean, we knew that going into the fight. Said's a really good striker, really comfortable, really rangy. And Bryce, he's never been Mr. Striker. He's always had some tricks up his sleeves, but he's been a grappler. And here he had a tough fight on the feet and on the ground. Said was a problem for him on the ground. Locked up a few, again, he almost locked up a few submissions, ninja chokes, and guillotines. And Bryce had to fight his way through him and grit his way out. And then he pretty much won with control, Bryce Mitchell. I thought he was the better grappler. He didn't do too much advancing like he typically does. I think he wanted to hold Said Nurmagomedov down. And sitting on his legs, one or two of them, is the best way to do it. And I thought Bryce Mitchell controlled him pretty comfortably. In the end, he ended up taking his back, when Said was the one forcing the move. But yeah, Bryce Mitchell, he didn't keep things too active on the ground. And I think it was a smart move for him. Not just with the scrambling ability of Saeed, but with the submission ability of Saeed Nurmagomedov. I think he's a very dangerous choke artist, and Bryce Mitchell was in danger that whole fight. But yeah, Bryce neutralized him, had a tough first round, but toughed it out in rounds 2 and 3 and walked away with a big victory by decision here. I know it's not that big because Saeed has lost to Vinicius Oliveira and Bryce and Raoni Barcelos and whoever. He's got some losses, but Saeed is here to stay, and he's a very good fighter. So, very good win for Bryce Mitchell. Muslim Salikov beat Carlos Leal by knockout in 42 seconds. Can't believe it was 42 seconds. And there was no spinning shit needed here. He just caught him with a straight right hand, I believe, as Carlos Leal was creeping in. He was creeping in and he was lackadaisical. And he's a guy who I think has been pretty reliant on his durability. He's a really tough guy to get out of there. Got a rock solid chin, or had one anyway. But Muslim Salikov, at 41 years old, proved he still has enough pop in his punches to go through a very durable guy in Carlos Leal, a prime fighter at 30 years old or whatever he's at. And great win for Salikov. I thought he looked, it's not like he got to showcase his skills for 15 minutes here, but we know he's a 15-minute fighter, even into his 40s. But he looked as dangerous as he's ever looked here. So excellent win for Muslim Salikov. And I think that's a win that's still going to age well. Carlos Leal, I think he's here to stay. Again, despite having somewhat of a spotty record himself in the UFC with that dog shit loss to Rinat Fakhretdinov. But yeah, Carlos Leal's a problem moving forward for a lot of good fighters, and Salikov went through him in 42 seconds. I'm not ready to write off the chin of Carlos Leal, but you will hear me mention it moving forward. Next up, though, Davy Grant beat Damon Blackshear by decision. I thought this was another clear decision victory, but still really tough fight. And Davy Grant just outlasted Blackshear. Blackshear hit a nice, beautiful takedown early and then forced some good control. He wasn't able to threaten Davy too seriously. I thought Davy kept it from being a 10-8 round, but Blackshear generally dominated him, for round one. Had a lot of control time and seemed to be a solid grappling and wrestling gap there. But that was just round one. In round 2 and 3, Damon Blackshear had nothing in him. I mean, on the feet, he was a step and a half behind Davy Grant. And wrestling-wise, he was a step behind Davy Grant. Not that Davy was wrestling, but Davy shut down all of his attacks and beat him up on the feet. Davy's got that funky style of striking. He wings hooks at you, body, head, and he's got some beautiful knockouts over good fighters like that. But here he didn't need the knockout. He just shut down Damon Blackshear, beat the fight out of him, beat some fatigue into him, and scared him from really making anything work against Davy Grant. Damon Blackshear was not nearly as aggressive as he should have been. He's a guy that had a one round in the bank and then slowly but surely gave that fight away. He couldn't make anything happen because Davy was really hurting him, I think. He didn't have any big moments, but Davy throws everything into every shot. And much like the 41-year-old Muslim Salikov, Davy Grant at 39 got the better of a 30-year-old. And I thought he looked phenomenal here. And there was no power being the difference. This was just hustle. Davy Grant out-hustled him and got a big victory. Damon Blackshear is a guy who had a tooth and nail battle with Mario Batista. Thank you. No? Either way. Damon Blackshear, he's in general had a lot of momentum. I know Montel Jackson knocked him out in 10 seconds. But he's been an above-average UFC fighter. And razor-thin fight, arguably a victory over Yusuf Zalal. And same with Mario Batista. And those are guys that are kicking ass and taking names right now. Those are bona fide contenders. And here, Davy Grant, the forgotten 39-year-old, just shuts him down in rounds 2 and 3, outlasts the 30-year-old. And Davy Grant, he's a guy who's always been underrated. He's my favorite bantamweight. It's like a tie between him and Pedro Munoz. And I really hope they don't fight each other next, even though Davey called him out in the post fight. But Davey, he's a guy who arguably beat Daniel Marcos. I mean, he definitely beat Daniel Marcos, and he arguably beat Adrian Yanez. I think both those fights are razor thin. I mean, the Marcos fight definitely should have gone to Grant. That wasn't even thin. That was a thick victory for Grant. But yeah, he's been underrated here, and here he gets the best victory, stepping over Damon Blackshear, aside from maybe his knockout over Jonathan Martinez. But yeah, awesome for Davey Grant, and I hope to see him back soon. I know he was booked to fight a few months ago, and whatever happened, happened. But yeah, I want to see him back before he's 41. Tabitha Ricci TKO'd Amanda Ribas. I feel like maybe it should be Ribas and Ricci. Either way. Ricci uh, TKO'd her with an elbow, smashed her eyes shut. I looked at it like an injury loss. You know, Hibash is a girl who's been TKO'd 3 times, but she was pretty much knocked silly, if not knocked out in all 3 losses. Here, this wasn't power meeting her chin. This was an elbow meeting her eye. And you could see her wince, and you could see the injury in slow motion. Her eye was fucked up, and she was able to take a few more shots, but that was it. Ricci put her down with elbows and then beat her down and got the stoppage, pounced on her. I thought this was an excellent win for Tabitha Ricci. I don't think too many of her wins moving forward are going to look like this. Not that this is sour grapes because I bet on Amanda Ribas. You got me there. I am sour about it. But yeah, I just think Ricci, she's not Miss Danger, physicality, elbow TKO. But here, it came through for her in a big way. And I know the coaches, because DC heard them, said the coaches were telling her, throw those elbows, press her, because she did press her for a large portion of round 1 in the clinch. And here she would have scored points and won the decision with those elbows, but she got to see what can happen when everything goes right, and she smashed the eye shut of Amanda Ribas. Great win for Ricci. Really phenomenal, emphatic victory, and a big surprise to me. And yeah, tough loss for Amanda Ribas. You know, I had doubts about her chin, and again, this doesn't count as a strike against her chin, but this was a big injury, and she got fucked up here. So hopefully she can recover well over time. And yeah, you'll hear me talk about eye injuries in another few minutes as I tease the Stephen Wynn fight. Billy Elikana beat Ebo Aslan. Man, did this get fight of the night? No, but it's a fight of the year contender, right? No? What? I don't know. I don't even want to talk about this fight. I hope they were both cut. But I do think Billy Elikana won. I think he was the better man in there by a small margin and such a shitty fight and whatever. My whole point of saying that is just to say I thought it was on Ebo Aslan. The onus was on him to make shit happen. But you know what? I could see his reaction after the final bell. He was jovial. He thought he won 30-24. So I can't even blame him. He's just that fucking stupid where he thought he won. And, you know, maybe he did. The fight was so fucking shitty. Whatever. Next fight. Stephen Wynn smashed the eye shut of Muhammad Yahya. This was stopped with a TKO due to the doctor stoppage with an eye injury there. But this should have been a knockout at the end of round 1. Stephen Wynn knocked him down, I think 6 times in round 1. I don't know what the final count ended up being with round 2, but I was counting in round 1, and I believe that final one was the 6th knockdown, and that was far and away the worst knockdown. I thought Jason Herzog fucked up here. He should have stopped that fight. I mean, he could have stopped it many times in round 1, but I thought, hey, he sees Muhammad Yahya up close. He knows he's not out of this fight. He's just, it looks a certain way or whatever. He's got the benefit of the doubt there. But with the 6th knockdown, I could see he was half out. And again, after 5 other knockdowns, he was beaten down. And that should have been stopped. Just, again, mercy. It should have been like a mercy stoppage. Jason Herzog, I know he wanted to be the do the right thing and give Yaya a shot at the epic comeback and whatever. But at some point, he's got to call it, man. And yeah, that sixth knockdown was brutal. But anyway, he ended up smashing his eye shut. And first of all, credit to Muhammad Yahya. I mean, he did not want to quit. He wanted to keep going. I mean, he probably in his heart just said, all right, fucking call it already. But externally, he wanted to go. And his eye was fucking swollen shut. He couldn't go 1 minute without getting a knockdown. And he just didn't have a prayer in that fight. But he still did not quit. So credit to him. That was tough as all fuck. My estimation of his toughness has gone up, but he did get next leveled by Stephen Wynn here. So my estimation of his technical skills has gone down. And yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know if we'll see him again, but either way, that was one hell of a way to go out if he's cut. Excellent grit and toughness. But Stephen Wynn kicked his ass, kicked his face, and I thought he was the much better man. He knocked him down or like attacked him within like 10 seconds. He had a big moment, and I think it was a knockdown. And then, of course, like I said, he knocked him down once a minute, pretty much the whole fight. He looked phenomenal here, and didn't seem to be slowing down either in the end. So, yeah, overall, great performance from Stephen Wynn. He totally next leveled Muhammad Yahya. And even though he didn't get the clean knockout or TKO victory like he should have gotten at the end of round one, he still gets a TKO win. And I believe he got a bonus as well. And I'm sure Martin Budai was given, Muhammad Yahya was given something. And in the first fight of the night, Marcus Budai got the better of Marcus Almeida, Buchecha. I thought Buchecha, again, showed a lot of toughness like he did in his other loss to Rug. I thought Buchecha looked tough, and I thought he had deceptive cardio. Both guys were able to scramble in round three and hit a reversal with utter stupidity from Martin Budai, frankly. But I still thought Martin Budai got the better of him. And I believe he got the last scramble as well, the last reversal. But he was able to shut down the jiu-jitsu of Marcus Almeida, basically with his size and also with the fatigue. He kept this fight on the feet for the first half of the fight pretty much. So that by the time they hit the mat, that window of, the athleticism and all that had gone. And even though Almeida is still 10 times the jiu-jitsu player, Martin Budai is a big old guy, and it's tough to move him around. So if he sits in half guard or even side control like he did, where he ended up getting swept at the end there because he got a little too aggressive, but he's got that massive torso, and I don't care who you are, you're going to have a difficult time moving him around. And on the feet, I thought Almeida showed a lot of great traits, but I thought Budai was better. Budai is a slower, plodding zombie, but he's the best of the slower, plodding zombies, and he proved that when he beat Josh Parisian. But yeah, he's the best of the slow, plodding zombies, and I thought he was getting the better of Almeida. I don't even know the strike count, and I don't remember too many effective strikes, but I know the failed takedowns of Marcus Almeida helped contribute to the look that Martin Budai was uh, getting the better of him on the feet. In the end, Almeida made some shit happen at the end of round one, landed some big shots that actually made it close. But I still thought with his failed takedowns and the success with those short strikes of Martin Budai, short strikes, he's fucking gigantic. They can't be short. But I thought Budai got the better of him. And in the end, Budai, after having a tough round two with Almeida getting his back, Budai survived, kept it from being a 10-8 round, and again, out-scrambled and outworked Almeida in round three, I thought. Got the better of him with the striking early and out-reversed him or whatever. But sloppy heavyweight fight. Almeida's got a great skill set, a great jiu-jitsu skill set. But MMA-wise, at 35 as well, not that that's the end of the world for a heavyweight. I don't envision him making big waves in the UFC. And, of course, this is not a great start. But this is not a horrific loss here. Horrendous loss. Martin Budai is now 7-1 in the UFC. I think I was one of the guys he beat, so it's not like he's beaten the best level of competition, but he's still 7-1. You know, you can beat Chase Sherman and Al Dente and whoever the fuck else. All right, the video cut off, so I'll do the official outro here. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit, and check out my other videos.